So, Jake, a big story this week. There was obviously the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust meeting. You watched the whole thing. Yeah. I've seen quite a lot of it. I've seen highlights. I've seen write-ups on it. But let's do it this way. Talk me through some of the key points, and then we'll open up for discussion, and we'll expand where we need to.
I think they started out with welcoming people in and just saying why they're here and what they're doing. They started out with the financial stuff, and this is something that started about 12 months ago, they said. They'd gone from a team of 3 to 10, and they started talking about bits and pieces. In theory, the key thing was 2018 was when DC really stopped putting money in properly. And
yeah, and you could see that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so explain what they said a little bit more about that, because they talked about how the DCs in the past said that fans don't put the money that he puts into the club. But what they were talking about financially, actually, from a financial perspective, is if you look at it, the clubs, the fans and the merchandising and everything like that is actually what's kept it afloat, not DC's injection of money.
Yeah, so it's the whole thing. What the thing they kind of turned around and said, the fact and figure that they said that the whole £2 million a month that he keeps saying, it's actually closer to 1.2 million that he'd been putting in. In 2020, he didn't put any money into the club at all. Fans have invested about £29.5 million into the club since 2015. And the investment is now more than what the chairman put in terms of like infrastructure and football wise. That's not going and doing all like the build, the electric, council tax and stuff like that. That's just like in the investment from that. And the thing is, we shouldn't be the ones putting that much money. It should be on top of whatever he puts in. So,
yeah. And obviously that's also, I think one big thing about that is he's obviously, there's been transfer kitties on top of that, which haven't gone, we aren't ignoring the fact that transfer monies were a big part of it in CHANSIRI's early reign, for example.
So the bit that's going to worry you and everyone else is the bit that CHANSIRI cash to sustain when in the championship. The cash reserves are about 8%, and that is now being used to cover wages.
We were talking a lot about reserves and that there needs to be more reserves in there. What's actually interesting, let's sort of jump off that a little bit. John West have had to distance themselves from CHANSIRI and Sheffield Wednesday. There was a tweet this week that basically distanced themselves from Sheffield Wednesday and CHANSIRI and the Thai Union food group, which is ridiculous that it's come to that. But actually, go on.
This is where this doesn't make a lot of sense for me, because when the club got taken over, there was an article the Telegraph did, which basically said the consortium of Daishon CHANSIRI and Thai Union Food Group are part of the consortium.
Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of like faded, hasn't it, over time?
Yeah.
So there's the contradiction there, but it's also a case of I'm quite interested to see that there's been press in Thailand now starting to shame the name a little bit more, and that is not going to go well with the CHANSIRI family.
No.
Whatsoever.
Also, one of the other things that came out as well is that, remember, the CHANSIRIs only own 18.5% of Thai Union Food.
Mm-hmm.
That's their ownership. For a long time, people have been like, they own all this. Why are they not doing it? No, they only own 18%. That's not a lot.
I mean, it's massive. It's a massive cut. It's still a lot of money owning that. But then again, it's not always cash on hand, that, which is when you talk about cash flow issues, there you are.
Yeah.
Assets aren't cash flow.
They are starting as a trust to find out what DC's businesses are in Thailand.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of digging going off with the trust, isn't there?
They're hoping that could be sorted and publicised soon. They've had a meeting with the FL. One of the things the FL wording was survive. At the moment, he doesn't breach they can't do like a fit and proper person test. Because in the terms of the rules, he technically not broke the rules.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
It's not got to that yet.
When you think about it. But it is that.
Can I just jump off that a second, Jake? Because you were talking about the talk with the EFL. Now, our friends at the Women's Supporters Group have also released a statement on that, saying on 6th of June 2025, representatives of the SWFC Supporters Trust, Sheffield Wednesday Women's Supporters Group, local MP Clive Betts, and the FSA attended a formal meeting with senior executives of the EFL. The meeting addressed the serious and escalating situation at Sheffield Wednesday Football Club following the recent charges against the club and its owner for regulatory breaches concerning non-payment of players. The meeting provided valuable clarity regarding the EFL's enforcement actions and the regulations involved. The EFL reaffirmed they remain focused on the survival of Sheffield Wednesday whilst also applying the rules fairly and consistently across all clubs in the interests of maintaining the integrity of competition. Supporters' representatives outlined their views regarding the gravity of the situation, emphasising the human and financial crisis now affecting all staff and raising concerns about the club's future viability under current ownership. We thank the EFL for facilitating open dialogue and for their willingness to continue engaging with us. The Trust and Women's Supporters Group will continue working diligently to monitor developments, advocate for the best interests of Sheffield Wednesday FC, and prepare for all possible outcomes. The Trust and WSG have prepared a summary of the meeting and explainer of the rules to give clarity to all SWFC supporters. So the groups are working with the EFL, and the Trust is obviously a big part of that as well. But I thought I'd give you a little bit more of a concise statement on there. Please carry on, Jake.
They spoke to 1867 News. He spoke about how his part of trying to find owners and stuff, or new owners, I should say. And basically, they are trying the hardest. He's trying to talk to people who can do so. From his knowledge, he only knows of one lot that put a bid in. We know that bid is the Shaw Group. Or I don't want to really say the Shaw Group, because I don't think that's fair, because Shaw's only just a little part of it. But because he's been quite open.
That's the very media present group, right? So that's the very, if you're on Twitter, we obviously covered it in the last podcast. That is the group that is vocal. There's murmurs of interested parties that are less vocal.
Yeah.
So it's just good to be able to hear all of that. But yes, he does speak about
in
planning, this situation.
What the plan is, what he thinks we should be doing if anything happens. Spoke about all the stuff that we've all really heard about. Let's be brutally honest. It's stuff that we've heard. Nigel from the Armed Forces spoke about how, just in general, with how for them, when they've gone and done other things, he had an example as when they went to like a football tournament that they went down, everybody else had a kit from the club and they didn't. They had to scramble to get one, and it was mix-match. Then it's just, they look at what happens over the road and see the support they get and how much they do into it. I think it's shocking how little we do for people who have defended our country.
Well, our women's group, our women's team is not even affiliated with the club.
No. It's ridiculous. I think you look at it as a whole, the actual event itself did what it needed to do. It highlighted things that maybe some of the laymen who are not fully invested in Wednesday hadn't heard or not known. And there are people like that where they only get involved when it gets bad, and it's getting bad, so they now want to know what's going on. The thing is, I urge people to join the Supporter Trust. The tenor and the way of going forward, because it's an official.
There's also a free option, isn't there, that I didn't state the last time,
Yeah, there's a free option, but the trust is probably going to be where we get a lot of information, where they can do more with talking to the FL, talking to supporters, trust groups as well, and getting it sorted that way. I think as a whole, it did what it needed to, which highlighted stuff. One of the things what came out of it as well, it does seem like Sheffield Wednesday's owner, Dave von CHANSIRI, is ready to sell. It does seem like he wants to get rid now. The problem is that how much is he wanting to sell for? Because
how much of a loss is he willing to take, if any?
Yeah.
And that's been the big thing around it all the time. But yeah, I think it was informative. There's 3 hours across the media if you want to watch it. I think most people have watched it. The Wednesday Till I Die, Wednesday Week, they've all done a stream of it, etc. I mean, if I'd have lived in Yorkshire still, I'd have gone myself. But it was good to see unity, right?
That's the word.
And I think that's
well. They didn't want to use the other side. I thought unity was a fantastic word to use.
There's been a lot of infighting in fan groups in the past, and we need to stop all of this infighting in the fan base. We do need to come to, even if we all have our own disagreements and we all don't agree with the way that people go around things, and I think that's the case in a lot of situations in Wednesday groups, you know, like that we don't agree with the way they do that, we don't agree with the way they do that, they don't agree with that, they don't. The one thing that needs to be unified is coming together at this time to get rid of Des von CHANSIRI.